And the last time I actually saw her, either video or in person, I had hair and my beard wasn't white. And she's laughing down here in the thing because she knows it's true. When we went on video, when we were in the green room, she didn't say anything, but I know she looked and going, dang, he got bald really quick. She is a sales manager I'll let her tell you what she does, but I want to give you a little bit of a resume because it's pretty impressive. She has been in the marketing advertising world as just an all-star. She also was an All-American softball player. She was the goalie for her squash team, and she was the captain of her cheerleading team. I'm going to bring her up right now. What's up? 3, 2, 1. Coralee, Bryan, how are you?
I love that. My favorite accomplishment is the goalie for the squash team, really.
I thought you were going to go with water polo or something, but
no.
How you doing today?
Thanks for having me. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
And same to you.
Thank you. Don't lie. Did the bald head surprise you a little bit?
I didn't want to say anything. Yeah, I know you were proud of those couple hairs that were hanging in there for a while, but
I told my son, I told my mom, I'm sorry. She asked me why I'm shaving it like I'm shaving it now. I shave it. I bought a special razor to shave my head. Here's why. When it grows, I've got the dead end, like you've put into the wrong cul-de-sac. There's no way out. You're like, hey, what happened to the houses here? They're all gone. Mm-hmm. They're all gone.
Sorry.
That's okay. We're going to talk. Oh, go ahead. Say it again.
This suits you.
Yeah. You don't have much choice as you get older. You don't have much choice. Hey, tell everybody what you do, and then I'm going to ask you for some advice, and then we're going to play a cool game of Did You Know?
Hey, so I'm actually the general manager at Untitled Chapter. And somebody asked me the other day, what is that? And I was like, what is that? I was like, I guess I'm like the chief cat herder or something. I mean, well, yeah, it's been, it's a new business and it's a small business and it's been a fun couple of years that I've been here.
So you went from advertising world to sales with the Chattanooga Lookouts, and then you went into this role. Is that correct?
Yes.
This is where we get to segue into your advice part because, and here's why I think this is pretty cool. And these conversations, we'll keep it to 15, 20 minutes at the longest. This is why I love these conversations, because as much as we know each other and we've had fun, you and I did a dating podcast for a couple of years, which you and I both still get feedback on.
Still, I saw someone in CVS a couple weeks ago, and he just randomly was like, "You do those podcasts, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I actually haven't done one in a while." He was like, "They were so good," and wanted me to send a link so that he could, re-listen to them. But it was the most random. I thought, how does he know? But
well, we were changing dating lives one podcast at a time, except for ours.
Everyone's been ours. We were a cautionary tale, really.
I said this to people before. It was such good content, and I loved doing it. There was good chemistry there. But for two people who date like my hairline, very sparsely up here, it's amazing that we did it.
But we had so much fun. The only thing that I regret, right, is I hurt some feelings, and it just. But we had so much fun, and it was really good. And maybe someday we'll have a single life. It was single life dating in your 30s and 40s, but I think we've graduated now.
It's mid-50s now. I don't know how that works. I think dating life at my age is I told somebody the other day, they were like, "Are you going out with anybody?" I said, "What am I? I'm junior high? I'm 54. Nobody goes out with a 54-year-old at this point. Nobody's dating. Oh, I've got this new boyfriend. Is he a boyfriend or is he an old friend?" Yeah. That's what he is. I want to pick your brain a little bit about business for a few minutes, and then we're going to move into the Did You Know part. And when you left the Lookouts, you went into this general manager position, and where you're at. I have gone into a new business, or not a new business. I've gone into a business as a manager in the past, and I did some things right and wrong. And I think that's always a struggle when somebody's getting hired on to come in and air quote, be a leader, right? Mm-hmm. Into a business, whether it's a new or existing business, it can be a little intimidating. Were you a little intimidated by the move before you made it?
I was. I was excited because it was a challenge. It was new and it was growth for me. But I didn't come in as the general manager for sure. I came in as the sales and marketing manager. And so, it was a new business, and one of the things that I think made it a little bit easier was the fact that it was new. Everyone here was new. And so it was really exciting that we got to develop policies and procedures and figure this thing out as we went along. Because it's been tremendous the last couple of years. We've been really successful. We weren't sure what the pandemic would hold. When I first came on board, we started talking about, okay, it was the middle of 2019. Once we got toward the end of 2019, we're like, okay, next year we'll set our baselines. We'll kind of know what's a season look like. What can we expect budget wise? And then the sky fell and pandemic happened. And so we've just been surviving in a pandemic the last 2 years, and business has been good. So now we're trying to decide, is this just because we're awesome, which we are, or is it because we're just in this strange market right now? And so it's been fun. It's, for me personally, it's been exciting. I've had a lot of growth. Like I said, started as a sales and marketing manager. A couple months in, there was some opportunity to get involved in the accounting portion and operations. And so that evolved. And then in September last year, I was named the GM. So it's just, like I said, been a wild ride, but really exciting and really fun. And there are amazing people here that just make everything work well. We've started with, I think there were 12 or 15 people when I first started in October of 19, and we have 30 now.
Wow. So, well, do me a favor, because I want to ask you for some tips or things you said before we came live, things you might have done wrong or you would do different as you went into that new position. And then also I love it when I hear people say we got to develop policies and procedures together. What that usually means, at least in my world, is there was things that went wrong and we were like, okay, we got to fix that. That can't happen anymore.
Yeah, we got to develop them because there weren't any, right? And there was some trial and error, and there were a lot of places where it's like, let's throw noodles and see if they stick, and if they don't, we'll revisit. And we're still doing that now. I mean, like I said, it's been like drinking from a fire hose. We're all going through this at Mach speed together. So
that's fun, though, isn't it? That's the creative side.
And it's exciting. I think that does play a little bit to my creative marketing kind of background. It's really nice to get to look at those challenges and figure them out.
Before I let you tell people some stuff that you might have learned either the hard way or advice you would give to somebody that was kind of getting ready to go through that, tell everybody what you actually do there so they know what kind of business it is and what you folks do every day.
Yeah, so we are an equipment dealership in Chattanooga. We have everything from mowers, turf equipment, UTVs, all the way up to large construction pieces. So just a full line equipment dealer, Kubota dealership.
I'm more than willing to do a trade for the sponsorship. I need something to ride around my backyard just for the heck of it. And
you need a tractor?
No. What's something small that I could just whip around in my yard? A mower. That's what I need. I need a mower.
A mower is great. So we just picked up a line called Envy, and they're electric UTVs, and it's like a golf cart on steroids. They're super fun.
Electric mower?
No, a UTV.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought, man.
But they're zippy and really fun. So if you want something to zip around the neighborhood and look really cool in, that's what you need. It's one of those.
I'll send one over here, box it up. I don't ever leave my house. I'm here 80. I live with my dog. We talked about this. I'm the get off my lawn guy. So I would love to
show from inside of your little.
I would just be in it with like a beer and my phone on the stand, driving around the neighborhood and just doing my podcast live.
So many cup holders. It'd be perfect.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, do me a favor before we jump into Did You Know? When you went into this position, you were saying there's some things, and I know it was a little daunting because you were actually going into it, not only a new industry, but like you said, a new business here to Chattanooga. Mm-hmm. So you were learning with everybody, but there's some things you said you might go back and either do different or you could have done better. So let's use that as a place maybe to give advice to somebody who may be making that transition into a leadership position.
So I think it was challenging going into this position because my background was not in equipment. It's still the techs and the specs and hydraulics, and those are still not my strong suit. But I saw something the other day and it stuck out and I saved it. I just pulled out my phone so I could look at it. I took a screenshot, but it's your role as a leader is to bring out the best in others, even when they know more than you. And so that was something that I felt like is really important. So I talk all the time about accepting strengths and weaknesses and knowing people's strong suits. And one thing that we've tried to do here is we weren't brand new from the ground. So there was a really small mom and pop dealership nearby, and Kubota wanted them to grow. And Dad was in his 80s and they've been in business for almost 50 years and just really wasn't willing to make that leap. So called our current owner, said, what do you think about opening a tractor dealership? And he tells it better than I do, but at first he was like, heck no. And then he said that night, I don't know if it was my second or third glass of wine, where I said, maybe we'll check that out. And so the rest is history. Here we are. But we did bring in some of those people from the prior dealership, as many as wanted to come from the family who were there at that dealership. And then those people knew someone, and we plucked people from different industries. And I think that it has made a really nice mix of people. And some of the things that have made us really successful is the fact that no one says this is the way we've always done it. We all come from different backgrounds and we all have different specialties, so to speak, and strengths. And so we're willing to try something new and not be afraid to go out on a limb and maybe take a piece from this background and that background. And we've had people who we thought they started in one position and we thought they're going to be great at this, but then turns out, you know what, they're not happy. So knowing their strengths and seeing how they work with others, we've been able to massage roles and move people around and really put them in positions so they can grow and so that they can be happy, and we don't have a lot of turnover because of that. So,
you said something that I think we're missing, and I think it's becoming more prevalent today, but is the happy part of business. It's almost, I'm not saying everybody can, but if you in life can find, a place to go to work, for 8-10 hours a day, and it's a good place, it's happy. It's not always easy. It's not always the, things you like, but it's a happy place. That is way important. That's more important now than I think it was 30 years ago.
It's super important. I mean, we say all the time, if you pull in the parking lot and you dread getting out of your car to come in, this is not where you need to be. That's right. And that's okay. Sometimes it's because this isn't where you're supposed to be, and maybe we need to look for something else. But I had, a personal experience with that where I was able to kind of use this example. But my daughter has played softball since she was 4. And I mean, year round playing softball, she was so good. And at the end of last summer, she was getting ready to go to a tournament. And I'd noticed that every weekend when there was a tournament or something, I'm having to force her to go. Like, come on, get up, you got to go. She wasn't excited. And she looked at me before the last tournament and she just was like, I just dread it. So I just dread being there. And I was like, okay. That's it. That's it. We're not going to do it. I'm not going to force you to go and do something where you dread it and you're not happy. And I know, kids sports is not the same as business, but that example, it's important. Like, you don't want to drag yourself somewhere where you're not going to give 100%. You're not going to do the best you can do all day if all you can think of is I would rather be somewhere else.
Well, and also, especially if you have the option. Again, there's times in my life where I've not had the option to either leave where I was at or start something new. I mean, sometimes life dictates. You just got to suck it up, buttercup. But if you ever get the option to be happy at your work, I think it's silly not to, because this is not a do-over. We don't get to get back in line for this ride. Yeah. And to spend 40 to 60 hours a week doing something that you dread is just, again, if you have the option, is just not a good choice.
No, so it takes a toll on you physically. It starts to impact your family life, your home life. And so you just don't want that. And we've tried to really be strategic with, if we recognize that someone isn't exactly happy in the role that they're in, where can we move them? What makes them tick? Is there an opportunity here? Because we do have the luxury of being a small new business that's growing constantly. Can we develop a position that person might be great in and might be super happy in? And there've been a couple times when we made changes just based on observations where people, they weren't happy and they're like, hold up, what are you doing? And afterward, it's like, thank you, I feel much better here.
Okay, I want to do the did you knows. Well, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. I apologize. There's a delay here. I want to do the did you knows. We're not going to do the did you knows about business because we spent so much time on it. We're going to do did you knows about St. Paddy's. But I wanted to ask you about this though. How much of your time, because I know your library of knowledge about what you do, the technical side has gotten much better. I know you can speak it, but how much of your time is spent intentionally every week meeting with your people? I mean, like not just meeting in the hallways, because I preach this all the time. Talking with people around business in your office is great, but that's usually centered around projects and deadlines. But I'm talking about sit down as often as you can, intentional, just to talk to the person. Do you make that part of your time scheduling?
I do. And that's been kind of a goal of mine over just developing this role and growing the business, is trying to get time with, not just me getting time with the people, but talking to the different managers, different department managers about, take your people and talk to them, find out what makes them tick. I've done a couple exit interviews that I heard some really difficult things, but I had to say thank you. That was really hard to hear, but thank you for giving me that feedback. And most of it was based on a lack of communication from management here. And so we've just worked together as a team and made it a goal to try to communicate better with our people. And I think
awesome. Well, it goes back to what you were saying. There's a learning curve inside an industry, but there's also a learning curve for all of us in dealing with people, the human element, that human capital. And I think the most dangerous place a manager or leader or business owner can get to is thinking, I've figured it all out now. And they stop growing and they stop investing in time with each person to keep learning about that person. That's when you end up becoming, like you said, you can become rigid. What happens is you become the company that you didn't have to deal with before. You said you came in and everything was new and we're figuring it out. Well, if you get stale, you can actually become the company that stops being creative.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, I'm a genius.
Yeah.
I know how to run a business from my
Are you looking for a job?
I would be. You don't want me as an employee. Hey, you want to do some St. Patrick's Day did you know fun facts?
I would love to.
All right, Coralee. Here we go. Let's do 5 or 6. We'll keep it a little short this time. Do you know what year and what city the first St. Patrick's Day celebration was held in the United States?
I do not. I feel like I should have have Google up, because I knew this Q&A was going to come.
Yeah.
And I can tell you I'm probably not going to know most of these, but
it's fun. It was in
me. Tell me.
What city would you guess that the first Irish celebration would be held in?
Are you talking in the U.S.?
United States, yeah, United States.
Boston?
Duh, look at you, you're a genius. Guess what year? No, don't guess. It'll take too long. 1737.
Okay. That's a long time ago.
Do you know what the national flower or emblem of Ireland is? If you don't get this one, there's a problem.
Is it the shamrock?
Oh, thank goodness. Your leader, your owners of that company are watching this going, hey, did we hire somebody that doesn't know what the shamrock is?
He asked me this morning, where can I watch this? I'm like, yeah. Let me vet it out first.
Yeah. Do you know what the original color of St. Patrick's Day was originally? It was not green originally.
Was it orange?
No, it wasn't orange. We're not. I know you're a Tennessee. No, you're not a Tennessee fan.
I'm not.
You're a Georgia fan, right?
No, orange. I mean,
it was blue.
Okay.
It was blue.
So how did we get to green? Is that part of your? You don't know.
So that's exactly what Rich Mazingo does. That frustrates me. These are did you know? I don't do research. It's on the interweb, so it's true.
You don't know either. You're just reading off a list right now. That's what you're telling me.
I'll edit the part out where I said I didn't know this, so I come across as a genius. Do you know what the legends say that each of the 4-leaf clovers means? Each leaf has a word and they mean. Do you know what it by chance? Do you know what they mean of the 4-leaf clover?
Surprisingly, I don't.
So, hope, faith, love, and luck.
Okay.
Did you know that? All right, here we go. There are 34.7 million U.S. residents with Irish ancestry. This number is more than 7 times the population of Ireland.
All right.
That's a pretty good one.
It is.
Do you have any Irish ancestry in you? Coralee?
I honestly, I don't know. My sister has done like the ancestry type tests, and I haven't even asked her what they came back with. Honestly, I know I've got Ringgold and a little Fort Payne, Alabama.
See,
Past that, I don't know.
those legendary Fort Payne, Alabama ancestry roots. When is there going to be a holiday for that? Damn it. Hey, did you know that St. Patrick he wasn't Irish? I knew that one. No, okay. He was the saint that was charged with bringing Christianity to Ireland. So he was actually from Scotland or Wales.
Okay.
All right, we'll do 2 or 3 more. Oh, I cannot remember. This was watch this. I'm not looking right now. I'm closing my eyes. I'm not going to read this. But I cannot remember the city, but it's in Ireland. The shortest St. Patrick's Day parade is 100 yards long. And I think it goes from pub to pub.
Nice.
That's a cool one.
Parade. They classify it as a parade.
They do.
I like it.
Let me see here. We'll do a couple more and we'll be done. I don't want to do any more about shamrocks. I don't want to do any more about shamrocks at all. There's no corn in corned beef. I didn't. Okay. Do you like corned beef?
It's not my favorite, but I'll eat it. I'm not really picky with food, so if it's not pickles, and I can usually do it.
If it's not what?
Pickles. I just don't like pickles. I know it's really weird, and I get a hard time. So we cater lunch here every day, and
every day.
Every day. So when the pandemic started, everything shut down, and we were essential. And so it was like, okay, well, how do we make sure everyone gets fed? And so we started catering in lunch, and then ended up it was such a morale booster, and the camaraderie was great. And my office is right down from the kitchen. And so I could hear everyone in there just laughing and joking. And it just had this great feeling about it. And I think it increased productivity. People weren't trying to hurry up and finish or watching the clock before they could punch out and go get in the line at Taco Bell. It worked out really well for us. So we've continued it, and I don't see it stopping anytime soon. But the lady who orders lunches for us is amazing. And so if they're doing sandwiches or anything, she'll order ones without pickles.
Oh, how sweet. Now let me ask you, and then we will wrap this up. Okay. Are you doing a St. Patrick's Day lunch today? I mean, are you bringing in like St. Patrick's Day food?
We're not, no.
All right. Well, whatever.
I'm just grateful that we have the meal. And so I'm not going to complain or dictate what we need to have as long as it doesn't have pickles.
Doesn't have pickles. And there's a glare. So I can't tell. Do you have a green sweater on?
I do.
Okay. So you are representing today.
I also brought, lean up the camera there, some little beads for everyone, but I've been on conference calls since I got here this morning. So I haven't had a chance to go hand those out.
Well, once you're off here, you can go do your thing with your good folks. Coralee, maybe now that we're getting past this a little bit, we can get back in the studio maybe once a month or once a quarter and do a special. We'll call it something different. Advice about dating from non-daters.
Yeah, how to survive being old and single. I don't know.
I know this. I know this, and she'll get this, and then we'll wrap it up. The older we get, the shorter you can be.
They'll know. It's still a no, but that's okay.
There's restrictions, by golly. All right.
You got standards, right?
You got to have standards. Coralee, it's really fun to see you. I'm glad you did this.
Good to see you too. Thank you for having me on, and hopefully you can bring me back again. Would love to be on with you and Mozingo as well.
Yeah. Tell everybody real quick how to find out more about the company that you work for. Give me the website.
Kubota of Chattanooga. We are on Rossville Boulevard in Chattanooga, right off of I-24. We're also KubotaofChattanooga.com, and yeah.
There we go. You can also look them up on Facebook.
Like a big adult toy store out here. Bring your kids out, and you can climb on tractors, and it's just fun.
Good. Thank you, Coralee.
Thanks, Clint.
Bye, everybody.